Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee.
And we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. I want to welcome you to the Jolley Marriage Show here on Jolley. What is our YouTube channel? Jolley Marriage?
The Jolley Marriage
TV or Jolley Marriage on YouTube?
Well, I have no idea.
I don't know. Cheryl will let us know.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, just Jolley Marriage on YouTube. I think that's it, Jolley Marriage on YouTube. But anyway, want to welcome you if you're watching live or if you are watching on the replay. We thank you and we're grateful for you. And we're grateful for your sharing in telling folks about this program. And you have made it a very popular program, not only in America, but around the globe. You're telling your friends and family members, this is some good information that the Jolleys share about relationships. So thank you. Also, thank you. A special thank you to all the people we met this weekend in High Point, North Carolina at Williams Memorial CME Church under the great leadership of Pastor Robert Williams and his beautiful bride, Denise, and Rolanda.
My new cousins.
Our new family members. We fell in love with them, and we just had the best time with them. We spoke, the two of us did their church leadership
On
Saturday, where we do first touch customer service to help grow churches.
The first touch experience.
There you go. And then Sunday morning, I spoke twice, once at 7:30 for all men's only service at 7:30 a.m., where I spoke on the topic, man up, come on somebody. And then at 10 o'clock, we had the full congregants of men and women where I talked about it's comeback time. So great time in High Point. Thank you again to everybody for your kindness. Just could not thank them enough. Also want to say, hope y'all enjoyed our little promo today with our grandson, Lil Bud.
Our newest grandchild.
Our newest grandchild, our third grandchild, Little Bud. And that's what we call Little Bud. So we're very grateful he was here, and first time him coming to our home. So that was great, wasn't it?
Tiring.
Yeah. We had to change him and change his diaper and feed him and rock him and all that. Yes, that little boy he's healthy. He eats well. Anyway, let's get going. Linda and Greg watching from home in West Virginia. Glad y'all are here.
Yes.
Wanna say hello to Gladys Pemberton and Ron Pemberton. We know they're there in the background somewhere. And the Boardleys and all the people around the world who watch. And thank y'all for your support. Let's talk about tonight's subject. Tonight's subject is the... Because you just typed it out. You just typed it out 2 minutes ago. Okay.
That's not quite the title. But raising and disciplining differently. What do you do?
Yeah, how do you handle different parenting styles? Now, the reason it came up was because we have, we always invite y'all to send the emails that you have an issue. And we got one about a parenting style where little boy was really bad, lying and doing just acting out.
The mother says the little boy's bad.
Right, but the father is very permissive. It looked like that.
Mm-hmm. And he's bad in school.
And
he's only 8 years old.
And
he lies.
He lies, and there's no discipline for his lying. They just think it's cute.
The father
thinks it's cute. Thinks he's just being a boy going through a phase. And so we decided to talk about this one. We were going to invite you to send your emails to info@williejolley.com with your issues. We hopefully will pick one of yours. But this is one we're going to talk about because we kind of have a little background on differing parenting styles. Would you say? in the fact that let me cue you up.
Oh, okay.
All right, because you're gonna say, what are you talking about? When we got married, we have a blended family. And I had been a father of a daughter who I would have part of the well, most of the summer holidays. And I was a good dad. I was a good guy, a good time dad. And she would go with me to this part started speaking, go to me with my gigs, hang out with me.
Hang out together.
We hang out together. We were buds.
No bedtime.
No bedtime.
No structure.
No structure. Hang out late at the gigs with me, at the rehearsals with me.
Having fun.
Yeah, we had fun. Yeah. But when it was school time, then she came to live with us.
You had never
had her
during the school year.
Yeah, and which meant we had to have more structure. Couldn't be up all night. Had to do your homework, and we had a little bit of conflict initially, but my wife convinced me that we needed to be on the same page. Now that said, also,
how did I convince you?
By talking to me. You didn't browbeat me. You just talked to me. We talked about it. Unless you have some other commentary there.
I think I also learned silence.
As
you struggle with some things.
Yeah, but I don't remember silence when you told me how you wanted. Well, you thought I was off track. I don't remember you going, hold on, I don't remember that. I remember that you said very clearly what you thought.
But I didn't nag you.
No, you didn't nag me. You said, that's why I said communications. We talked about it. Now, I don't want people to think silence, that you just said nothing, that you went silent, that you stonewall. I mean, you went a silent treatment. That's what I don't want. Okay.
No, I didn't say silence.
All right, I'm saying when you say silence,
okay,
that can be misconstrued. Okay. So you spoke of me, you told me what you thought, and then you did not browbeat me or nag. You knew I got
watched you struggle through the transition. That's what I'm saying when I refer to silence.
Well, you didn't keep it going after you said it, but I don't want you to think people to think that you said nothing and didn't. Okay, there. All right.
I had to.
So we worked through that.
You struggle as you were like from a good time dad. From a bumblebee to what is it? From a worm. What's that?
A caterpillar to a butterfly.
From a caterpillar.
I have to work.
Struggle.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Now, when William came along, who we had together, we were always on the same page. Okay, but part of that was due to the influence of Dee's parents, specifically her father.
But I think, okay,
all right,
I will receive that.
Because he taught me how to be mindful of discipline. And it did not have to be heavy-handed. It just had to be consistent. Mm-hmm. And so...
Okay. And that is because your father passed away when you were 13.
Correct. Right.
But your mom and dad were disciplinarians, or maybe your dad was.
My dad was more the disciplinarian than my mother. My mother was pretty much always easygoing, but she did not offer a different perspective when he said, he had this thing where he would say, gentlemen, he always called us gentlemen, my brother and I, gentlemen, you get 3 demerits. 3 demerits. If you do something, you don't immediately get a spanking. But if you get 3 demerits, he would remember demerit number 1, demerit number 2. You get that 3rd demerit, you're going to get a spanking. So she did not disagree or anything like that. She would support him in that effort. Okay. So what we want to talk about is when you got these 2. I remember another situation where we had a couple who we counseled, where the husband was more of the disciplinarian. They had 1 child, a daughter, And when the daughter got teenage age, she started having what we call a smart mouth. She was mouthy. And he wanted to nip it in the bud, right? Stop her. He said, if she keeps talking like that, he gonna pop her. But the mother said, no, don't hit my baby. Don't touch my baby. And it created some conflict.
What was the resolution?
I think the resolution was that they resolved that there had to be some boundaries of which the daughter could say, that's you've crossed the line, big girl. You can't talk like that to your parents. And if you do, there will be consequences. Okay. That's what we want to talk about.
Everything has consequences.
Everything has consequences. And so parenting, y'all can talk through, some people say, I came from a household where there was no corporal punishment. People got set in the timeout corner.
Well, that's punishment, isn't it?
Yeah, corporal punishment.
Corporal means beating.
Corporal means strap.
Okay.
Switch.
Okay.
Belt. Ruler.
Okay.
Something. And they differed in that, and it created conflict between the two. One wants to be more disciplinarian and more strict.
So can't you be a disciplinarian without being physically abusive?
There are those who say that who abide by that mantra, and then there are those who say, no, you gotta let them know the consequence of their actions have consequence, and let them feel that consequence.
The consequence of their actions has to be painful. I don't know if I think we really didn't deal with that, but I think it depends upon the child, the temperament.
Well, let's take William for an example. Let's go right there.
William is phlegmatic.
So William,
I
think William got one spanking in his life that I can think of.
What was that one about?
When he acted out in the Rite Aid drugstore.
I wasn't with you.
You were not with me.
I wasn't with you.
Oh, man, well, I know he didn't get a spanking for that. He got pushed his face in the snow for that. But I think the spanking was when we were playing video games and he rose up on me.
Oh.
Because he didn't like me.
I wasn't.
He was maybe 6 years old, so that was a spanking. Other than that, though, I can't think of a spanking. Okay? And I don't think you had any commentary on that. I don't remember.
First of all, I didn't even know about that. Because I didn't play video games. I wasn't around when y'all were doing all this kind of stuff. But
that was the only time
I would with him. There were never really his personality was such. He's what you call phlegmatic in terms of temperament.
Well, how do we discipline it though?
Which is basically easy going. I would talk with him. Now, does it mean that he always did everything? What I discovered was that he would agree and then do what he wanted to do anyway. Very subtly. He was not disrespectful.
Never disrespectful.
But I would
at one time.
I would study him. Just like what are my mantras? You gotta study your mate. You gotta study your kids. Each one is so different. And I would notice how he would handle things. If something he didn't want to do, yes, Mom. And then quietly he would not do it. He would never be openly disrespectful.
Never.
But that kind of easy.
So how do we deal with
disarming.
Okay, we get past that. Let's get to the people who sent this letter.
Let's go.
What should we recommend they do?
Okay, can I give some background, please? Because of course I did. Okay.
Yes.
In raising and disciplining differently, what do you do? So I'm like, well, where do you even start? So I said, let me go back and do some research, which I always do something, research. And there were 6 different sources. And it's a kind of area where it's like soft skills in terms of how you gather the research. And the research comes from more from Psychology Today and Pew, P-E-W.
Pew Research
tend to do a lot in terms of relationships and the like. So research indicates that a substantial, that's the terminology they use, of two-parent households or cohabitating, where they cohabitate, have different parenting styles. So that's like at least half the population have different parenting styles. And different parenting styles are a result of their backgrounds and their cultures and their philosophies on life. That just makes sense. Say, okay, so here we are. For example, it's about 50-50 that parents report feeling judged by their partner on how they parent. Isn't that something?
Well, wouldn't that be fixed by having a conversation?
I think so, but it doesn't say. This is a Pew Research
By the way, you look
Center.
very cute tonight.
Thank you, dear.
So men at William Memorial Church, you see how I did that? You see how I slid in that what I told you all about? Always talk sweet to your wife, particularly if you have some ulterior motives, okay? Just talk sweet to her all day long. Start in the morning, all day long. You look good.
So this Pew Research Center report was done in 2023, just last year. And that with parenting, about 50% of the parents are saying they feel judged by their partner or their mate in terms of how they're raising their children, how they're responding to things that their children do. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I would not have thought that. I guess I really didn't think much about that anyway. Willie,
Yeah, I do. Deborah Gardner, you are absolutely right. She's cute.
Thank you.
She's a cute wife. I'm going to keep her. Anyway, go ahead, sweetie pie.
And you can see these differences in terms of how they discipline, which is where we are now, how they handle emotional issues with their children. And one thing I thought was interesting, they said that mothers are generally more likely to be overprotective and inclined to give in quickly. I'm not sure. I think was I overprotective? And then fathers tend to lean towards granting more freedom.
Well,
so it made me stop and think. Now, these are from surveys, right?
Well, let me say there's some validity in our relationship with that. So let me tell you. What's that mean? So William, when he was a little boy, would come into our room about middle of the night and crawl up next to his mama, and she'd scoot over and let him in. One night, he came to the wrong side, and he slid up next to me. I said, "Boy, you better go back to your bed."
Now you know that was me.
See.
That was me.
See, that's where the mothers maybe tend to be a little bit. Okay.
But I don't think it's overprotecting. I think that was just nurturing.
I nurtured him too, but he gonna take himself back to his bed. I didn't move over. I said, "No, boy, you gonna go back to your bed." All right.
Anyway. Fathers lean towards granting more freedom. I think that's an oversimplification.
I think that's very oversimplification.
What do you think?
I think that's very oversimplification. I think that if I don't want to put I don't want to do generalization.
Okay.
Because the letter said.
I'm trying to lay up the letter.
Yeah, but this goes against what the letter we got that says the wife was the disciplinarian. We need to put some discipline in the husband. Says it's just the boy. Give him time. No, man, the boy lying and acting out of school.
Okay.
Let me tell you about let me tell you real quick about acting out of school. I didn't have much acting. Now, my mama was a school teacher. My father was a newspaper man, so he had more flexible hours. So he would often come to the school and help. And my teacher, Mrs. Holmes, said to me just recently, she's in her 90s, she said, "Wow. Your father was my class father, and he would, whenever I called, he would come and he helped." me in the class. So my father every year from in elementary school, from 1st grade to 6th grade, would start the year by bringing a strap to the school and in front of the class say to the teacher demonstratively, if that one named Willie Jolley, if he messes out, you take him in the cloakroom and this is the strap you use.
Because you were a terror.
Yeah, but he ain't had no problem. She ain't had no problem with me when that happened. Now I was pretty bad, but not at school because I knew that strap had been provided by my father. And then on top of that, I did not want her calling my father or my mother saying I was out of. Now I talked, but they just write a note. I just talked too much.
Oh,
I talked.
Did you get paid now for it?
Yeah, see, I got in trouble for talking before. Now I get paid for talking.
So
Praise the Lord.
So what's one thing we learned here?
Okay.
Communication.
That's the thing. I think so family, this family, ma'am and husband, here's what we start with. You got to communicate and explain your position and why you think it's important. And understand, Dad, if you're seeing this, Mom, I'm sure you're seeing this, explain to the dad that discipline is necessary for success in life. You cannot have success without discipline. Now you have a choice. You can discipline your children, or you can discipline yourself, or you can let life discipline you. But life's discipline is always harder than self-discipline. So you must discipline the child, or they're going to have one or two things. They're going to make decisions that will take them to jail or an early grave. So you've got to discipline them and say, you've got to have some rules.
All right. So obviously their philosophies are different because the father sees some things as humorous.
Yeah. He didn't think it was important. Lying, acting out in school.
So then I'm seeing there's a lack of education, I think, on the father's part.
Yes. He might have come from a household where there was, right? That's what you're going to say?
Yes.
Okay.
So how do you communicate to get him to see a broader picture? Oh, do you think he will ever outgrow this? Are you thinking Are you thinking that this is something that he will simply outgrow since you're reinforcing it? By saying it's okay. It's funny.
It's okay. It's funny. Okay. It's not okay. Lying. The things that we know are.
And he's a kid. He's immature.
Out of context. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a kid. But I learned about lying and stealing as a kid. It is not good. Now, I think I've told the story before, and I'm going to tell it again because it's in the marriage book. The impact of integrity in a relationship. Dee knows that if I say something, it's going to get done. Integrity. My father beat the drum about integrity. Well, one time when my brother and myself were down in the country in Charlottesville, outside in the country area, my uncle had a country store. We went to the store every day and he'd give us a piece of bubble gum. Well, one day he was busy. We asked for bubble gum. He said, I can't do it right now. So we snuck up behind the counter and we took some bubble gum, went outside, walked home. By that time, he had called my aunt, who was a disciplinarian for sure. And we in there, hey, Aunt Natalie. She said, hey, boys, sure are enjoying that gum, aren't you? Yeah, it's really good. Where'd you get it? Uncle Willie gave it to us. Oh, really? Then she picked up the phone. She said, Willie, I'm named after him. Did you get the boys some gum? Because they sure are enjoying it. He said, no, I did not. I told them to wait. So how did you get the gum, boys? We took it. So you took the gum and you lied to me that told you Uncle Willie gave it to you. So you're not just a thief, but you're also a liar. We don't abide by that. We don't accept that. There are consequences. So they did not spank us. They sent us, they would not give us any more candy the whole time we're there. This midweek, let's say it's midweek. By the weekend, my mama came. My mama spanked us. When we got home, My daddy spanked us. Next weekend, we went to visit Grandma in Philadelphia. She spanked us. From that day to this, I have never touched anything that did not belong to me.
So the lesson is to help the father understand that the actions of his child will always have consequences, and it might not be the kind of consequence that he would want for his child.
That's right. If you don't get it while it's small, we could have one day we didn't let us go on that. Oh, that's just kids being kids. Then the next thing we steal some money. The next thing we steal somebody's jewelry. No, because there's no consequence. No, we got it nipped in the bud for a piece of penny candy, bubble gum.
Which is part of the problem that we have with teenage theft.
Yep.
You have teenagers not of driving age who are taking cars. Why is
That's
that?
Right.
And often there are no consequences to that. Evolves into the like 6 young ladies
who beat the man and killed him.
Beat the man to death out of fun.
Right. Or how about me going to Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, rather than marching in the parade this year, I chose to call the former chief of police, say, I want to volunteer to speak for some young people. And I was sent to a juvenile justice place where all the kids had ankle monitors, and I spoke for them. Most of them had been arrested for carjacking and for stealing cars.
And so, and my question always becomes, where are the parents?
Well, this is what's happened with this story. The parents are not being parents. Parent is not, here's what I say. Y'all got to talk, but a parent's job is not to be the friend of the child. And I had to learn that with my older daughter, but to be their parent. And sometimes that means they're not going to like you.
Not their friend.
They're not my, we are to raise you to be successful individuals. And that is that's our job. And sometimes they're not going to like it, but that's our job. We got 2 minutes. Go ahead. I know you got some other stuff.
No, the main thing is...
Please remind people this is breast cancer.
Oh, I'm going to do that.
Then now is the time to do it.
The communication is the thing.
Open
and
communication.
How you communicate to share your differing opinions and then find some common ground and what you can agree on, or what might be some non-negotiables. Like, what might be a non-negotiable? Just a quick relation. You can't. No lying.
No lying. No lying.
Right.
No stealing. No stealing. Integrity. No stealing. Right. Okay. Right. No taking something that's not yours. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
That might be a great starting.
We got 2 minutes.
Okay.
We got less than 2 minutes.
October. 2 things. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mark your calendar for that. Mark your calendar for getting your annual breast exam. Some people do it on their birthday, or mark the calendar for their birthday. What is becoming very prevalent now is the acknowledgement of dense breasts. Dense breasts. I have dense breasts. As a result of having dense breasts, we now recognize that there's another exam that you can take because it's difficult to feel the lumps. So you get an exam. Then you might end up with a sonogram, which is different than just the X-ray, to determine if you do have a lump. Okay. Then also domestic abuse. This is National Domestic Abuse, and there's a hotline, and it's available 24/7.
That number is
800-799-SAFE. 800-799-SAFE. And you can even text 88788. 88788.
Okay. So we want y'all to do that. And then last but not least, everybody vote. It's very critical. Please. Vote. Please vote. Okay.
You can vote absentee. You can vote the day of.
But vote. Everybody. All right. Thank y'all. We'll see you next week. Gladys Pemberton, I know you're listening. Hope you're well. And your husband. Thank you, Cozeras. And who else joined us tonight? Oh, I got to say a shout out to Victoria Stockdale, Deborah Gardner, all of those who joined us, thank you. And those around the world who are watching and not putting anything in the chat. Oh, people, Orlando Pack is here, and smile.net and join as well. Okay, here we go. Our time is up. We got to go. See y'all next week.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.